Hello, Barendipitous here. For this video, I'm going to react to Chapter 3, The Shadow, in the web novel for the Brawlhalla Battle Pass Season 11 on brawlhalla.com/battle pass. So in the previous video here, I read through Chapters 1 and 2 and kind of talked about like references and things like that in there. I'm going to continue doing that, but now we've reached the point where I've not read it all. I'm going to be reacting basically completely blind. I've seen a few screenshots here and there shared by fellow lore nerds in the Brawlhalla Lore Book Club Discord server, but but I don't really know what the story is. So here we go. Chapter 3, The Shadow. I've had it with these blasted traps. It was one thing to terrorize intruders with spikes and swinging axes, but it's another to leave all those snakes in a pit without adequate space or nutrition. He feels sorry for the snakes. Oh, that's beautiful. If I ever find the departed soul of this temple's patron, I'll have to bottle it up and toss it into a pit of Darkheart serum. See how it likes being treated like those poor snakes. I like how the snake was like, yeah, get him. Ah, what do we have here? The hall opened to a massive chamber. Before him were pillars of towering gold inlaid with intricate geometric designs, lavish frescoes depicting murals of a divine beast, human figures bowing in reverence before their god, rainfall vaporizing under the brilliant rays of the sun and moon. The gold had lost its luster to age, but the chamber was otherwise quite untouched. It seemed to have been frozen in time, save the thin layer of dust that draped over every surface. The architecture couldn't hold a candle to the mighty fortresses of Asgard, of course, but the technical prowess, the artistry, it was still quite a sight to behold. I love how, I noticed this in a previous chapter too, there's kind of there's little bits of, Loki is always thinking of home. He's always thinking of Asgard. He's always thinking of his family, his brother Odin, his nephew Thor, his nieces, I believe, Hugin and Munin. He's always thinking of Asgard. He's very much an end justifies the means kind of person and a kind of character. And definitely some of the things that he's done with his Darkheart research and experimentation, you can say were very likely quite unethical, scientifically speaking, and ethically speaking. But it kind of, there's definitely depth to Loki, as there has been in pretty much every iteration of him throughout fiction and mythology. So, but yeah, he's always thinking of Asgard. I think that's really precious, and I think that's really cool. A really cool dimension to his character. And then, from the edge of his vision, he saw it, a faint ruby glimmer. Is it? A glimmering gemstone, no bigger than a glass vial. In the blue light of Loki's flame, the gem's crimson facets glittered a beautiful purple. Spiraled carvings delicately decorated its every face. Lovely! Looks like I'll be back to Terminus in time for lunch. Loki strode forward. He's probably joking because he's traveling through time, right? Loki strode forward and raised his left hand, materializing a blue chain. It unlaced itself from his arm and shot forth, encircling the gem. With a subtle twitch of his finger, the chain snapped back. The ensnared gem landed neatly into his waiting grasp. It vibrated softly, trembling. A strange, prickling feeling seized his chest, then faded as quickly as it came. Loki glanced down. Below his feet was a sprawling ritual circle. Thousands of intricate runes were cleanly inscribed on the floor. How curious. The finesse of these carvings are clearly beyond the abilities of a bog-standard cultist. The work of an expert necromancer? A well-read scholar dabbling in the dark arts? No matter. I found it. All I need to do now is activate it and get out. So, what he was talking about, a skilled necromancer, Azoth's lore does mention that, the reason Azoth is the way he is with, his lich state is, it wasn't necessarily him that did it, it was his court sorcerer that did that and kind of set that up. So either this circle was done by that sorcerer, or possibly more likely, because I think Azoth is originally from Europe, the Europe area, this probably is from a devotee of Azoth from ages past or something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll learn in this story. Daub the gem with a drop of blood, eh? He raised his free hand, and a small iridescent dagger materialized in the air. Carefully, he grasped the sharp end of the blade. A thin line appeared on his skin before a thick, dark blue liquid welled up to the wound. Wait, what? Grasped the sharp end of the blade. A thin line appeared on his... Welled up to the wound. Does he bleed dark blue? That's interesting. Maybe that's like how gods bleed. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, okay. There we go. I was thinking too far ahead. Godly ichor. Gleaming like stars reflecting upon a dark sea. A pearlescent midnight sky. That's interesting. I know in other depictions of like, divine blood in like Greek mythology, for example, it's often depicted as like a pearly substance or like a golden substance. Here it's like this pearlescent, like dark blue substance. Maybe that's specifically for Loki. Maybe that's for all the Norse gods. I don't know. That's interesting. Looks like the gods do bleed, or something. At least Loki does. It streamed down his palm, dribbling onto the gem. A glow emanated from the gem as the ichor flowed through the carvings. Loki released his grip. The gem plummeted to the ground. An unnatural power seemed to wrest it into the heart of the ritual circle. It forcefully landed on its end with a resonant ping. The air crackled as the ichor flowed from the sides of the gem into the runes of the circle. From the corner of Loki's eye, the shadows fluttered. Something was there. Suddenly, his transceiver buzzed to life. So sorry about my absence, Luminary Officer. I had to step away. We were attending to the other experiment you requested regarding the Red Raptor in Dimension X9. Would you like to hear the results of that timeline? Yep, that is a reference to Red Raptor. Red Raptor's story is very much intertwined with Terminus and Loki's experimentation. Dimension X9, that's interesting. I might have to see if that matches up with anything we know so far. Sir? Researcher Jones, I would like to know the results of that timeline, please. Loki snapped his head to face his assailant. In the same movement, his scythe has already materialized in his right hand. He snuffed his flame, bracing his left arm in front of its face. A blur of prismatic metal cut through the air. His blade sank into flesh. The chains at the hilt of his blade rattled at the impact. Metal shrapnel shot through the air as the transceiver shattered, having taken the full force of a flying fist. Oh, darn it. No more transceiver. That's unfortunate. Sir? The static sighed as the signal gave out with a final crackle. It was great to have you with us, Researcher Jones, while you were here. You were awesome. Love to hear more from you. Anyway, legions of chains sprouted from the cracks in the ground. They danced in the air, light like ribbons, before clamping down and snapped taut, crushing the attacker's limbs to the sides of their body. A hoarse roar, ferocious but tinged with a sense of panic, mostly wounded pride. Loki cracked a wily grin. So it seemed he had caught a predator right in its tracks. Its hunt had failed. Warmth wept onto his hands, red and dripping. And this is the reveal, right, of Chell. Ah! Oh, you look familiar. Time held its breath for but a moment. Loki looked into the eyes of the beast. He met her wild eyes with a cold, calculating stare. Her painted face was pulled into a skeletal scowl. She was armored, garbed in the trappings of a local warrior. Her musculature was toned and well-defined, her skin modded with scars. I wish, as much as I love this art here of Chell, the fact that it says that her skin was like covered in scars, I'd love to see a bit of that. I think that would add a bit more visual character. So, but anyway, she still looks awesome. Her claws were unsheathed and glinting, sharp as knives, murderous. Had he not acted with impulse, perhaps they would have met his throat. You! How did you... Never mind. What right do you have to intrude upon these temples? I, Chell, will strike you down where you stand for your insolence. Before Loki could speak, he heard a tiny wet plink. A heartbeat later, a hiss. His eyes flicked down. Red melded with blue. Purple smoke blossomed atop the gem. The ritual circle sizzled as all of its runes lit and began to spin, a resonant hum. and the room bloomed with a blinding, brilliant light. Okay, that's chapter 3. Very, very cool. I love the little references here and there. All right, look forward to the next video where I react to chapter 4. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, all the best.